Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you're watching from. Today, we need to unpack what's been happening with XRP because the price action over the past 24 hours of the recording time that I'm doing completely flipped the mood across the entire community. But before we get into that, what this really means, quick notes, Bitfinex, as I always say, is one of the fastest exchanges for trading during high volatility markets. So if you're active in crypto, check the link below. You will definitely get special bonuses and smooth execution even when the market goes wild. As I'm recording this, XRP is trading around $2.24, up more than 7% and the day, and the move was fast. XRP jumped roughly 20 cents in a single push, and what makes it even more interesting is that this happened right after people were loudly calling for a collapse. You've seen the posts, it's over, time to sell, ETFs launch, a cool down, and honestly, I understood the concern. Every time an XRP ETF went live previously, Bitcoin tanked, dragged everything with it, and the whole market got shaken up. But today, completely different story. Bitcoin is sitting just under 88k, basically flat, while XRP is ignoring it and running on its own. So what's going on? Why is XRP suddenly moving against Bitcoin? My honest opinion is that a lot of the capital exiting Bitcoin ETFs is rotating straight into these new XRP ETFs. This is one of the first times we've seen that kind of divergence, and it's pretty telling. Some people have been saying the XRP surge is because ISO updates went live. I really don't think so. We're not seeing the commercial impact of ISO yet, not until the banks finish their testing on the private ledger. What we're seeing today feels much more like a recalibration driven by ETF inflows and a whole lot of excitement around the idea of upcoming scarcity. People want their positions secured before supply gets tight, and I don't blame them. This is also why you don't panic sell on red days. But the narrative around Bitcoin is definitely shifting. Even the fear and greed index creeping back up to 15 after hitting a scary low of 10 shows people are still nervous but starting to wake up again. What's wild is how many traders suddenly switch back into XRP is about to go parabolic mode today. I've seen at least 15 or 20 posts claiming that this breakout is finally here. But personally, I want to see how the next 24 hours play out, but the momentum looks solid. Meanwhile, whales are playing a dangerous game. One whale opened a $1.1 million short position against XRP and is already heavily bleeding. The best move on red days is doing nothing or buy more, but selling usually a disaster. Now, let's talk about ETFs because everyone keeps asking whether they should buy XRP directly or use an ETF for exposure. ETFs are great for retirement accounts, easier tax records, and avoiding wallet management, but you do not own the underlying asset. You're paying fees, you're relying on a fund structure, and you don't get utility. Owning XRP directly is basically the opposite. It's yours, it's flexible, it's cheaper, and you're independent on anyone. XRP ETFs brought in $180 million in inflows, while Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs saw $1.7 billion in outflows. That's institutional rotation out of speculation into utility. We waited years to see this shift. It's finally happening. We're also seeing whales dumping tens of millions worth of XRP back onto exchanges, a behavior I think is going to backfire very soon. And once scarcity kicks in, those whales are going to have a very hard time buying their bags back. Speaking of Franklin Templeton, institutional analysts are now openly admitting that XRP is starting to look like the winner in the next phase of crypto. Even Forbes, which once called XRP a zombie blockchain, suddenly flipped bullish. Why? Because they obviously see what's happening here. Bitcoin is being tied to quantum risk narratives, regulatory pressure, and also old financial structures. Meanwhile, Ripple meets the SEC, survived the crackdown, and positioned XRP for global settlement, clearing, and real utility. So that's why by the end of 2025, some analysts think that XRP ends around $10. Personally, I think that's low. If momentum continues, double digits could come much sooner, especially if market structure legislation passes and ETFs keep absorbing supply. We also have South Korea, one of the most XRP bullish countries on earth, delaying crypto taxes again. That's huge because Korean retail is historically one of the strongest forces behind XRP pumps. And right now, XRP sits at $2.23, and while the monthly chart still shows we are recovering, today's move is the first real sign of strength we've seen in weeks. If XRP breaks above $2.40, that's where things get interesting. That's where momentum can turn into a real breakout. And let's not ignore the possibility that XRP could lead the start of alt season. Bitcoin's dominance is weakening and ETF flows are shifting. Utility is finally being priced in. If XRP keeps outperforming Bitcoin like it did today, XRP could be the spark. So for now, stay patient, stay informed, and stay ready. XRP is finally waking up. And if this continues, things could accelerate very quickly from here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. See you in the next video.